At this particular moment, we are waiting for the search and rescue teams to retrieve that body. But the confirmation that we've received is that indeed there is another body that has been spotted in this area. I'm actually going to bring in a community member that was assisting with the search. He is actually the one that actually found this second body. Thank you very much for your time. Just to start off, perhaps, and just to speak to us about how you actually came across the body. Ubone kanjani umzimba?
Thank you, Silethiwe. No, bengelula neze. Ngisuke from the bridge la khona ngifice khona i-rescue team ibheka, then ngafike ngabalandela. Along the way ma bengihamba akhamba khona amanzi la kuvimba khona. So kumele ngingene esihlahleni phakathi. Ngiyangaphazanyiswa na imamba ke. Sibone inyoka imamba lapha. Ngokuthi nje kufanele imizimba yabantu igcine itholakele ukuze nemndeni igcine ikhululekile yabo ithola iclosure ngapho. So ngaphuma ngelinye side ngangena phakathi futhi ezihlahleni. No bengelula ngoba khona la amanzi uhamba khona shora khona nje uzongibona ukuthi ngimanzi. Ngangena ngajumpela ngala ngithe mase ngihambe nje distance like mhlawumbe 200 meters. 200 meters I think so mangibuka ngaphesha komfula nangu umuntu lele lapho yabona. So akasaqokile amanzi amkhumulile though there is underwear ne t-shirt ikhona. Yabona ukuthi shuthi ibhluku likhumukile ngabona nomzimba womuntu ngase ngiwelela ngakhona nakhona bengelula ukwela futhi so masifika sengiyatrya ukule ngimemeza so that i-rescue team izosiza. Fortunately ngithema ngabe ngimile ngabona nona amaphoyisa nabelungu sebemile ngenhla ngasayini ukuthi there is omunye umzimba la.
Just describe the situation inside the water. We can see a number of rescue teams, but perhaps just to explain the situation that they are facing, like swabonile amaje, ihlahle manzini. You're talking about how hard it is inside the water. Just describe the situation for us.
No, it's not easy at all. It's not easy because lapha kunezihlahla kugcwele izihlahla nezingodi ezinkulu. Utshani, amathayi yonke into akulula ukuhamba lapha yana. Akulula nganeze. No, siyabonga for i-team njengoba namanje sasebenza nama members of the community because I was not alone lapha yana kuno out bengihamba naye. Uyena ngibese ngithi mhlawumbe akahamba fake ma members of family so that bezobuya ne rescue team bakazo identify umzimba. So akulula nganeze kodwa uba lapha yana. Sizophinda nje njengoba kuthiwa imizimba yothu etholakele sizophinda khona siloku sibheke njalo.
Mhlawumbe ukukhuluma nathi nje ngalomfula njwayele yini ukuthi mekunesima isimo semvula esikanjena mhlawumbe bese nithola kulesi simo esifana nalezi noma kuyaqala nje kule ndawo?
No, angifuni ukuqamba manga. It's my first time experiencing lento. Sihlale siyibona kwezinye indawo sibuka ngama TV. But mathe sibuka live la eduze kwami ya akukho lula and especially kulesikhathi sonyaka. Ngizothi dudu nje emndenini yabantu abalahlekela akukho lula sibheke kwiChristmas isikhathi sokujabula kunabantu abazilile akumnandanga neze sisukubhlungu.
That's one of the community members there that's still assisting in fact with the ongoing search. Vuyo, he states that he spotted the body of the second person that was inside that vehicle that was lodged inside a river in the early hours of this morning. He states that he was with another community members at the time when he spotted the body. He also states that they would make it closer to the river where they would then confirm that indeed it is a body, and that's when they decided to call the search and rescue teams to actually come and assess the situation. At this particular moment, he also goes into detail in terms of what the search and rescue teams are up against. Of course, we know that in situations such as this one, they have quite a difficult task in most cases that lies ahead, particularly when you are looking at retrieving or finding missing people. He goes on to detail the how the river is at this particular moment. He states that there is debris inside. He states that there is trees and rocks, and in fact that's what we've been hearing throughout the day when we've been speaking to a number of people. They've been stating that one of the major concerns that they have at this point is that they are not sure what condition those people are going to be found in, particularly because of the condition of the river. And we are hearing now from someone that has made it inside that it is indeed a difficult situation. As you can see at this particular point, we do have the search and rescue teams I see a few divers also just making their way out of the river. That's where they are yet to retrieve that body. But I can see that they have placed the spine board there. I'm not too sure if indeed the body has now been retrieved, but we know that it is something that will be taking place momentarily. It was spotted just 100 or 200 meters from where we were, and we understand, of course, that the body flowed all the way to where we are right now. The current Vuyo at the very first location was still quite strong. When we were there earlier on, we were told that the river is not that deep, but one of the concerns that they were facing was that the current was quite strong. At this particular moment, I can see a bit of movement from the search and rescue teams. It seems as if they have now indeed retrieved the body. Now, of course, there's also concern in terms of the family members. You'll remember it was stated that there were 5 occupants inside the vehicle at the time when it was unfortunately swept away by heavy waters during the flash floods that occurred here in the province yesterday. We were told that the 5 occupants were swept away when they attempted crossing a low-lying bridge, and this is now after another vehicle attempted crossing the very same bridge, was quite successful, but unfortunately the vehicle that the deceased was traveling in was unsuccessful. So we've heard, of course, from the various departments where they've stated that people should continue to heed weather warnings in terms of those alerts that continue to go out regarding people not crossing any swollen rivers at this particular point. Of course, we know that the situation can get quite dire. There are more alerts that have gone out for this week, where we understand that once again there is a call that has been made. Excuse the transition, we're just going to try and show you what we can see from where we are. But the alerts have gone out once again, stating that more inclement weather is expected this week. We heard how people should not be making any unnecessary travels at this particular point, including motorists and residents. And the understanding, of course, is that we are in the festive season. Quite a number of people are coming into the province to visit their loved ones. Quite a number of people have also gone on holiday break. A lot of people at this particular moment also just unwinding and spending time with loved ones and friends. But the Department of Cooperative Governance once again stressing the point of heeding weather warnings. Despite it being holiday season, they did state that once again people should continue to heed those weather warnings, Vuyo.
Indeed, a bit of a tricky time. Have authorities in any way, Silethiwe, sort of spoken about how they have, or they are making sure that people not only get the messages but heed the calls, because I mean it's really there's really no point in not getting the kind of result that authorities would actually want. Are they going the extra mile of actually being perhaps a lot more vigilant than they have been up until now? And one is not, casting any aspersions or projecting any blame, but have they indicated whether they have gone the extra mile, given the fact that in spite of all these messages and warnings, a lot of people still don't heed the calls?
Well, one would expect that during this time, where we know that there's quite a bit of heavy rain that we usually experience in the province, one would expect that the relevant authorities are ensuring that various areas around the province do remember to actually heed those weather warnings. We know, of course, that in most cases when you find that there's situations such as this one, there's relief and support that is provided to those different families that are affected. But one of the biggest questions that usually go out is how much information actually went out regarding ensuring that people actually heed those weather warnings, and particularly because in the province of KZN, we know that the weather has become quite unpredictable. So a number of people also stating that there's more, not just visibility, but perhaps the relevant authorities need to ensure that indeed people do heed those weather warnings. In this particular case, when we spoke to one of the occupants that was inside the car, he states that he had no knowledge that there was severe weather that was to be expected last night. He states that he had no idea. I also posed the question in terms of whether he knows that he should not be crossing any low-lying bridges, and he stated that he had no knowledge of that. So one of the biggest questions, Vuyo, is that how much effort really is coming from relevant authorities in terms of ensuring that people around different communities actually take the weather warnings seriously. But in this particular community, they state that when you look at the river itself, this is the first time that they've experienced something like this. They state that it's something that they usually see from afar, and that they never expected that it would happen in their community. But the understanding that we have from the South African Weather Services and the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, they state that they will be continuing to monitor the situation in those different areas that have been affected. Teams, of course, at this particular moment will remain on high alert. They will also be remaining in the areas that have been affected until there's more communication coming from the South African Weather Services. But definitely quite a bit of concern when you're looking at whether enough has actually been done to ensure that people actually take those weather warnings seriously.
Hopefully, Silethiwe, there will also be the authorities will take a long and hard look at whether, in fact, the information that they keep disseminating does actually reach the people, in fact, everyone, but also perhaps look at improving the messaging, but also making sure that it actually does reach the people it is intended to reach, because the weather, it seems, is not about to let up. We are going to have these situations for some time to come. So hopefully someone is going to look into that as well. And we're saying this without necessarily undermining or saying that no one is doing anything about the situation.